on our ongoing discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I've shared the screen. I think you all can see it. We'll start with our prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna everyone and welcome you all
Hare Krishna.
ongoing discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. So yesterday we discussed a bit on Canto, we are discussing Canto 6 anyway. So we discussed about Canto 6, chapter number 2 and a bit of 3. And then we discussed about the philosophy of Dvaita, Advaita, and Ashita, Aveda Ved. So then today we'll continue with chapter number 4, where after hearing this all from Sukadeva Goswami, the Parishit Maharaj, he got more, he wanted to hear more about Supreme Lord, because just a small one name of Narayana, though intention was to call his son Ajamil was being saved by Vishnu Dutas, and he was given another. He left for some more 12 years of life with full austerity and keeping Krishna in focused and meditated on Lord Krishna, and then he went back to Vaikuntha. So Prabhupada actually says that in the same life, it is possible for us to go back to Godhead. The only thing we need is our determination. And also we discussed yesterday that this is the human life is a great opportunity to know completely about the absolute truth. Right. So let's continue from there. So after that, Parishit Maharaj, after hearing this glorification of Ajamil's story and how he was being saved, he wanted to hear more about Lord, about creation and the glories of Supreme Person of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And then Sukadeva Goswami, he went back to the story of Prachetas. We remember when we discussed about Prachetas, the Prachetas, they went for austerity for 10,000 years by the instruction of his father, and then how Lord Shiva gave him the Rudra Gita, and they meditated on Lord Vishnu by the chanting the Rudra Gita, or this glorification of Lord Krishna is given by Lord Shiva to them. And we also discussed about when they came out, they were very angry, isn't it? They were very angry, and they saw that actually they saw all the ground are being covered by the trees. That's why they became very angry, and they generated wind and fire from their mouth, and then they are burning whole forest. And then Lord moon god, he arrived there and requested them not to burn it. Rather, he says, you are a king and you should protect everyone. And then he told that I have actually a daughter called as Marisha, And we also heard about the story of Marisha. And then the Marisha take as your wife, accept her as your wife. And then these 10 Prachetas, they actually accepted Marisha as their wife, and they begot one son. Uh, That name was Daksha. So remember Daksha Prajapati, right? Daksha Prajapati was who actually insulted Lord Shiva, and then he got a Lord Shiva cut his. So he had been cut by. Then he got a head of goat by Lord Shiva, and then he died after that. And then the same Daksha, he came here again. So basically this is the kind of third life, you can say, of Daksha. He coming as a son of Marisha. And then Daksha, he wanted, actually Daksha means he basically he's a Prajapati, and he wanted to create so many different living entities through his semen and through his mind. He created so many, like even like demons, human beings, demigods, and birds, beasts, aquatics, and so long. However, somehow or other he was not happy with that. He said, looks like I'm not properly generating all the living entity, or all kind of living entity. So he approached a mountain near Vindhya mountain age, and there he performed austerities. And he offered prayers to Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu. That's called as Hansa Guhya prayers. So Hansa Guhya prayer, Prabhupada says, is exists in a Vedic literature. And then Daksha Prajapati, by doing austerity, he offered prayer to Lord Vishnu through Hamsa Guhya prayer. So the when the Devatas, all like Brahma and everyone, when they approach to Shodakshai Vishnu, there they also offer prayer. That's called a Purusha Shukta. So by the prayer, Krishna listens, and he comes either to see him, or he inspired within their heart. So in a similar way, there's one more prayer, Hansa Guhya, and there Daksha start glorifying Lord Narayana, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, and then he started meditating on that. He said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the illusory energy, and by the physical category it produces. Even the physical category it produces. So it possesses the potency for unfailing knowledge and supreme willpower, and he is the controller of all living entity, even the illusory energy. And the conditioned soul who have accepted his material manifestation as everything cannot see him, for he is above the evidence of all experimental knowledge, and self-evident and self-sufficient. He is not caused by any superior cause. So let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So the prayer says that he is one and all, everything. He knows everything. He create everything, and no one is superior to him. By he prays some more, and then Prabhupada writes in the purport that to see Lord, to see Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is actually very, very difficult, and even rare as well, and that can only happen by purification. And Prabhupada says in the purport, saying that the pure stage of living entity existence is described in Bhagavad Gita, that is in 728. There he says, person who have acted very piously in the previous lives, and in this life whose sinful activities are completely eradicated, and who are freed from duality of dualism, engage themselves in my service with determination. So Krishna says that in chapter 7, 20th verse, that people who are actually very pious, have done pious activity in their past lives, and also in this life they are very pious, in which basically the persons are born of goodness, and there is no sinful actions are remaining there, and there is they are all free from sinful reactions or actions, and they engage in my service, in the service of Lord Krishna, with determination. And that again Krishna says in chapter 9 as well, that always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So devotion is what is there, because uh, we all, every living entity, we have a unique relationship with Krishna. So let's, for example, even our family, we have a unique relationship with our mother, with our father, with our kids. Even if we have a multiple of kids, each kids we have a definite unique relationship with everyone. And when we go out from our family, we have a unique relationship with our friends, our colleagues, everyone. Everyone is specific unique relationship. In a similar way, Lord Krishna has also a unique relationship with every living entity, and we are one of those. We have a unique relationship with Krishna, and everyone. That relationship is, we get it from devotion. When we worship Lord Krishna in that mood, like, no, saying that you are my master, I'm your servant, please accept me, then Krishna reveals us within our heart, and then we get engaged more and more. And in 18th verse, Krishna says that one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he is only by devotional service. Bhaktyama ajananti yavan yaschasti tattvataha. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So entering into the kingdom of God is not so easy. Even seeing Krishna is not so easy. Even realizing Krishna is not so easy. But that can be achieved easily by devotional service, right? So Prabhupada says that although the subject matter is very, very extremely difficult to understand about Lord, how this creation happened, what relationship we have with Krishna, it's really difficult, but it becomes easy if one follows the prescribed method given by our acharyas, and then follow on. So being in touch with Krishna or with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is possible only through pure devotional service, right? And then Prabhupada continues saying that the Supreme Lord is beyond the creation of this material world, and therefore he is the source of all material qualities and actions. And uh, as the cause of all causes, Lord Krishna, he exists before the creation and also after the creation. And I wish to offer my respectable obeisances unto him. So these are the prayers being glorified to Lord Krishna by Daksha Prajapati in this life. And by this, he said the Supreme Brahman, Krishna, is the ultimate resting place and source of everything. And everything is done by him, everything belongs to him, and everything is offered to him. He is the ultimate objective, where whether acting or causing others to act, he is the ultimate doer. So the concept here comes is that he is the ultimate doer, means whatever we do, somehow or other, he is engaged in it. So in Bhagavad Gita, it's explained there are 5 factors for any act. Though we think I am doing it, but actually they are related with 5 different facts. One is the place of action, where the action is being performed. The second is the performer, or who is doing the activities. The third comes is senses, how the senses are engaged in the work. And the fourth comes is our endeavor, our how much determined we are. And the fifth, that is very, very important, is super soul. So uh, again, these 5 can be a bit more understandable by 3 things. Like, one is our endeavor, or full kind of uh, putting with our enthusiasm to get the something done. And the second point comes is the material nature is provides the things which what we want to do. And the very important is the super soul, who sanctions it. Whatever the desire we have, whatever desire we have, if super soul doesn't sanctions or Krishna doesn't sanctions, we won't get it. Even we have experienced it many a time. We do some sacrifices, we do some austerities, we do some fasting to get something. Sometimes we get it, and sometimes we don't. This is the reason. And how to understand it a bit more detail, I'll try to give a small example. Let's suppose we want to build a house, and you want to build maybe, like, let's say about a bungalow, mansion, right? What the things we required? We need maybe stones or mud or cement and all of the other things. That's material nature provides us. And to build a big house, we need money. And normally when we buy a home, or when we get make a home, build a home, we go approach to bank. We approach to bank for loans. So the loan, the bank actually, he checks about our credit history and all other things, how how are you performing in your job, or how much are you getting paid, and all the things they evaluate. And the bank might sanction our loan or might not sanction our loan. So that is the concept is super soul. So desire, I have desire to build a house, and now the bank, he has the right to sanction it or not. So if the bank sanctions, then I can go ahead and build my building or build my whatever I wanted to do. And if the bank rejects my loan, I'm helpless, I can't build my desired home. So in a similar way, whenever we have any desire, we have to do our endeavor that is needed, and the much needed is the part of the sanction of Supreme Soul or Super Soul or Krishna. That is mercy. And also this Damodar month, we have discussed the same thing as well. Mother Yashoda was binding Lord Krishna's waist, right? And it was always 2 fingers short. And he used to tie more ropes and round, but again 2 inches short. And then this our acharyas explain that what those 2 inches means. One is our endeavor for anything, and the second is Krishna's mercy. So we need to put our endeavor, and then Krishna provides his mercy as well. And then if both comes, we get it on that. And even if you see, sometimes we work very, very hard, very hard. We put our 200%, still we do not get it. That we can understand that, okay, looks like Krishna doesn't want it to get. And that has a cause as well, right? Anyway, so these are the 5 points, which actually 5 factors is work behind anything in this world. Anything means anything. And then he continues, he says, the Lord is especially very merciful to the devotees who worship his lotus feet, and thus he exhibits transcendental form and names with his different pastimes. So by glorifying Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, Lord Narayana, Daksha was actually meditating on him, and Lord appeared there. Lord Krishna appeared there, and Sukadeva Goswami narrates the uh, appearance of Lord Vishnu. I'll have to read it whole translation. It's very nice, and by this, actually, by hearing this, we can actually meditate on Lord Vishnu. How does it he looks like when he came before Daksha Prajapati? So we have read it earlier as well, but let's read it again. His Sukadeva Goswami said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who is extremely affectionate to his devotees, was very pleased by the prayers offered by Daksha, and thus he appeared at that holy place known as Agamarshana. O Maharaj Parishit, best of the Kuru dynasty, the Lord's lotus feet rested on the shoulder of his carrier Garuda. So Lord is actually standing on Garuda, and then he appeared with 8 long, mighty, very beautiful arms. So Krishna appeared with 8 arms, and before Daksha. And he says, in his hands he held a disc, a conchal, a sword, shield, arrow, bow, rope, and a club, and each hand a different weapon. So 8 hands, and everyone in every hand he got all different weapons on that, and all are brilliantly shining. So his garments was well yellow, and his bodily hue deep bluish. So we can imagine that he has even a wearing a dhoti of maybe yellow, and the body is bluish, and his eyes and face were very, very cheerful, and from his neck to his feet hung a very long garland of flowers. His chest was decorated with Kaustuba jewels and the mark of Srivasta, and on his head was a gorgeous round helmet, and his ears were decorated with earrings resembling sharks. So, you know, uh, I think I've shared the picture of Vithala Deva a couple of days back. That Vithala they used to earrings, and that always becomes of a fish, and that is shark. That's a nice earring for him. And all these ornaments were uncommonly beautiful. And we discussed earlier that the ornament, when Krishna wore, that they become glorified. So ornaments of ornaments is Lord Krishna. And the Lord wear a golden belt on his waist, and bracelets on his arms, rings on his fingers, and ankles belt on his feet. So he thus decorated by various ornaments, Lord Hari, who is attractive to all the living entities of the three world, is known as Purushottama. Purusa Uttama, the topmost person. So, in English we say good, better, best. So all three are good, isn't it? Good is good, better is more good, and best is more good. So that's why it's a Purusha Uttama. So the topmost living entity and the best personality. He was accompanied by the great devotees like Narada, Nanda, and all the principal demigods, and led by heavenly king Indra and the residents of various upper planets such as the Siddha Loka, Gandharva Loka, and Charna Loka, situated on the both sides of the Lord and behind him as well. These devotees offered him prayer continuously. So that's a nice glorification of Lord Vishnu appearing in front of Daksha. And what happened after when he saw Daksha Prajapati, when he saw to Vishnu in this form, he actually could not speak anything. He was stunned. He can't speak anything, and he paid obeisances to Lord Vishnu right away with Dandavat Pranam. We when we go to temple, we put our whole body flat as a stick in front of deities, as called as Dandavat Pranam, and the female or the Matajis, they put, they bow down half, and by that Daksha, he bow down to Lord Vishnu as a stick with due respect, and Daksha could not speak anything. However, Krishna knows very well. He told that, okay, I know that, because of your austerity, which are combined with devotion, your life is now successful, and I know what you had desired, but your life is now successful because of your devotion, and you have achieved complete perfection. So this is the stage of perfection a, a personality can reach just by uh, paying, prayers to Lord, and by putting obeisances to him, chanting his holy name, glorifying him. The persons can become perfect, right? And after that, then Lord said that no, there is a, because he wanted, initially, if we discussed about, he wanted to uh, you know increase the population, but he thought, I'm not doing in a correct way. So he prayed. He went to the mountain and do austerities by praying Lord. And then the Lord came, and he said now that there's a Prajapati Panchajana, and he has a daughter called as Ashikini. So Ashikini, and whom I offer to you. So you accept her as your wife, and then you can begot hundreds of children from her. And then after fulfilling the desire of Daksha, so though he wanted to begot children, and he prayed to Lord, and the Lord gave her a daughter of Prajapati Panchajana. And from then we entered chapter number 5, where at the ending of the chapter, Narada Muni is being cursed by this Prajapati Daksha. Gurudev Goswami continues here in this chapter saying that this Daksha begot 10,000 sons in the womb of Ashkini or Panchajini, or daughter of Panchajini, the first 10 sons. And these 10 sons combinedly, earlier we discussed about the Prachetas, the 10 sons were called Prachetas. And here, Daksha begot 10,000 sons, and those 10,000 sons are known as Haryashvas. So combinedly, they are known as Haryashvas. And when, as they began to grew up, and they have been asked by Daksha to begot children. And so they went for austerity towards Narayana Saras, and there they went towards a lake, and they did all their austerity very well. And Narada Muni somehow approached there, and said that these Haryashvars, they are actually very purified. They are getting purified by bathing in this holy river, and doing very nice austerity. So why there is a need to take them household life? Let's do bypass and back to Godhead, right? Let them be in fully Krishna consciousness directly. And Narada Muni again, he we discussed many a time, whenever he comes, he makes devotee like anything. By just his glance, by his touch, the personality can become a pure devotee of Lord Vishnu, right? So he thought there is no need for these Haryashvarshas to enter to the household life. because again household life is again a place of entanglement. And uh, and when once goes into that, it's very difficult to come out. We understood the story of the deep forest. Entering the deep forest is very, very difficult to come out, and hence so there is no need for them to enter into the household. And he he actually narrated him all the stories. And somehow or other, everyone, or all the Harshava's, the 10,000 son of Daksha, they accepted Narada Muni as their spiritual master, and they followed the path by which one never returns to this world, or they engage themselves in the direct service of Lord Vishnu. And by that, Narada Muni, making this 10,000 son as his disciple, he left it by delivering everyone. And Daksha, he heard this, and he began to lament. He thought, no, I worship Lord Vishnu, and by him I could get this much many son, and I had a desire to increase the population. Somehow or other, this Narada had changed everything. And after that, Lord Brahma came and pacified Daksha. He said, don't become hungry. You can begot some another children as from her. Then he begot 10, he begot now 100 son. Sorry, he begot now 1,000 son from Ashkini. So earlier 10,000 and now 1,000. That's basically 11,000 sons. And these 1,000 sons are known as Savalashwas. So these Savalashwas, again, when they grew, they they went the same thing. Daksha asked them to begot children, and these the Savalashwas, they went again to the same place for austerity. And here Prabhupada actually writes here, or a devotee explains here, that Daksha knew very well that my earlier 10,000 sons are actually being taken away by, or maybe the route being turned by towards brahmachari by Narada Muni. And again, he again sent this 1,000 son or Salvashyas to do the austerities. So the thing is that basically he wanted them to get purified by the austerities and then enter into household life. And this Salvasya also went for austerity in the same place, and they sang the name Om Namo Narayana Purushaya Mahatmane. By chanting the name of Lord Vishnu, they began doing austerities. And the same story happened again. So Narada Muni again approached there, gave the same instruction to this, and made all them a brahmachari. And all they followed the path of Narada Muni, or even the elder brothers of them, and they all engage in Krishna consciousness fully. And then Narada Muni left back again. And just imagine what could be going inside the heart of Daksha. And Daksha came to know about this as well, and he became much angry. He was so angry that what has Narada Muni done to me? And the Narada Muni, he thought, okay, it's time to deliver Daksha as well. Let me go and deliver Daksha. And he went to see Daksha. He went to see Daksha Prajapati, and Daksha Prajapati, by seeing Narada Muni, he became kind of much angry. He was full in anger, and he started just blaspheming Narada Muni right away. We understand very well from our previous lives we get our consciousness, the mind intelligence falls over that comes. So Prabhupada explains, and the same thing as well. Earlier Daksha, remember the previous life of Daksha, he cursed Lord Shiva. Still that intention or was still there in his thought. So he, by just seeing Narada Muni, he started blaspheming. He says, Narada Muni, you wear the dress of a saintly person, but you are not actually a saint. Indeed, although I am now in Grihastha life, I am a saintly person. He's praising by himself and blaspheming to Narada Muni by saying that, you have shown my son the path of renunciation, and you have done me an abominable justice. So injustice. So you have done very, very wrong to me. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, he says, Daksha was extremely angry at Narada because he thought that Narada Muni had done him a great injustice. Sometimes a saintly person is misunderstood by grahasthas, especially when he instructs their young son to accept Krishna consciousness. So generally, a grahastha's think that unless one enters into grahastha life, he cannot properly enter the renounce order. And if a young man immediately adopts the path of renounce order in accordance with the instructions of Narada or the member of his disciplic succession, his parents become very angry. So that is how Prabhupada explained that this way we see in this today's world as well. And then even Daksha got quite angry. And he said that no, they are there, but apparently Prabhupada writes that apparently Daksha Prajapati did not know the final decision of the Shastras. What is that? He says, everyone is in debt to the demigods, to the living entity in general, to his family, to the Pitras, Pitas, and so on. But if one fully surrender to Krishna, Mukunda, who can give one liberation even if one performs no yajna and one is freed from all debts. So just by surrendering to Mukunda, Krishna, all our debts are being freed. Because Daksha actually he told that my sons are not yet freed from the depths. So what a son is depth of what? That's been explained that depths to great saintly persons, depth towards the devatas, and depth towards the father. Because we know that when a father left his body, the sons they do all the karmas, and then that's how they are not being freed from these things. But Prabhupada says that anyone who takes shelter of Mukunda, Krishna, he is free from all these debts. And even if one does not repay his debts, he is free from all the debts if he renounces the material world for the sake of Supreme Personality of Godhead, not for his own sense enjoyment, not for his own speculation, just for the sake of Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose lotus feet are the shelter of everyone. That is the verdict of Shastra. So therefore, Narada Muni was completely right in his instructions, instructing the son of Prajapati Daksha to now renounce this material world immediately and take shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Daksha still he was angry. He's continued that you claim to be associate of Lord Vishnu, but you are not. You have committed violence and you are a shameless and devoid of all compassion. Again, he is committing aparadh, or it's offenses by uh, blaspheming to Narada Muni, who is again a very great devotee of Lord. And then he said that material enjoyment is indeed the cause of all happiness. I agree. However, but one cannot give it up unless one has personally experienced how much suffering it is. So Daksha Prajapati is saying there, those things. But Srila Prabhupada gives an example of an lady being pregnant and to address this reason of Daksha. So Daksha Prajapati is saying that someone has to enter metal to the household life and experience the suffering by his own, and then again he wishes he can take renunciation. Prabhupada says when a lady becomes pregnant, she goes with so many miseries. Even the birth of a child is also very painful. But still, to enjoy, the lady again enters the path of going to her pregnancy. So that's how he's saying that no, he has experienced, but person should experience the suffering of material life, and then he can renounce. But Prabhupada says, if we have the opportunity, we can take the bypass step as well. And Narada, you have done this twice with me. You have not done just only once. You have done this twice because you have, initially my 10,000 sons and the second 1,000 sons all have been taken care by that. They took the path of brahmacharya. And so I curse you that you may travel all over the universe, but I curse that you have no residence anywhere. So Narada Muni was being cursed by Daksha, saying that you will have no place to live anywhere, but you can travel. Though you can travel anywhere, but still you won't be having any permanent place for you. And Sukadeva Goswami continues saying that as Narada Muni was cursed, he was still very, quiet. He didn't say anything. He accepted the curse and being a very tolerant and a merciful sadhu, merciful saint, he do no action, and he left back from there. Right. And then after angry, he was quite angry, and then at the time again Lord Brahma appeared, and Lord Brahma appeared, and he again pacified Daksha, and he said that okay, this time beget daughters. So we are entering chapter number 6 now. And then begot daughters, and Daksha begot 60 daughters from Ashkini. So earlier 10,000 son, then 1,000 son again, and then again now 60 daughters. And then 60 daughters is being divided by 10 daughters are given to Dharmaraj, and the 17 daughters are given to Kashyapa Muni, and then 27 daughters they are given to Moon God, and then two daughters are given to Angira Muni, two to Krishna Muni, and two to Bhuta. So her daughters descendant fill all this universe, right? So one of us prominent daughters, Rachana, the daughter of Daityas, actually become the wife of Prajapati Tashtva, and by his semen he begot in her womb two very powerful sons named as Shanivesha and Vishwarupa. So why this Vishwarupa is basically we'll take it in this next chapter. Vishwarupa's roles comes back. That's why uh, these names are being said here. And the Vishwarupa, he was the son of the daughter of their eternal enemies, demon. But the demigods accepted him as their priest in accordance with the order of Brahma, and they were abandoned by their spiritual master Brahaspati, whom they had disrespected. So we'll hear in next couple of chapters where all the devatas headed by Indra. So their spiritual master Brahaspati, they have been abandoned by them because they have done some disrespected to him, and they approached Lord Brahma, what shall we do? And the Lord Brahma says that okay, you can go and accept Vishwarupa. He's a very learned Brahmanas, though his mother is from demon side, his father is from demigod side. So you can accept he's a pure Brahmanas, and you can accept him as your spiritual master or your guru. So we'll continue from here tomorrow, from chapter 7, where we'll see how the Indra and all the devatas, they somehow or other offended Brihaspati. They've ignored Brihaspati, their spiritual masters, and Brihaspati actually also abandoned all these people. And then they approached to Brahma, and we'll continue from there tomorrow. Any questions from today? Okay. And going forward, we are going to discuss about a very nice story of a demon who is a devotee of Lord. So maybe we can start by tomorrow, or either probably we can start by tomorrow. It's called as Britrasur. Okay. There is no question, then we can end here. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Jai Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Babaji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.